1047 is back again this summer with yet another first-person shooter. Now let's see if we can actually make it through this video without dying from cringe, because man, the devs sure are something else. This time, they're hitting the market with something that might actually have a leg to stand on. For years, we have heard the distant cries for Titanfall 3 from all shooter fans alike, and it appears that 1047 is attempting to capitalize on this market gap with their new title, Impulse. This is a fast-paced 6v6 movement shooter. You outmove and outgun your opponents across the post-utopian streets of Freehold. By fighting for control of mechs, you can turn the tide of battle for your crew. Now, do we think that this is just some quick cash grab so that 1047 can keep the lights on for another dev cycle? Or are they actually looking for long-term success here? They say that they have a lot of Titanfall devs on their team, but personally, I just have no idea what to expect because they are well known for releasing games way too early. But let's figure this one out together, shall we? They claim that movement is king and that it's at the core of every fight. You can wall run forwards, you can wall run backwards, you can swing from a grapple hook, you can launch off of hollow jumps, which is just a fancy term for a bounce pad, and you can alter surfaces with something they are calling paint bombs that apparently give you tactical advantages. They say that the important part is none of these systems live on their own. They are designed to combine, and that when all of these systems are firing together, Impulse drops you into a flow state that feels totally unique to this game. Now, if any of you have played the Splitgate titles, you'll know that constant movement is something that 1047 has just always placed a lot of weight in. They've always wanted their games to be a fast-paced arcade-style FPS that rewards player expression and skill. And in my opinion, there is no better way for this to be achieved. Creating a movement system that gives players nearly unrestricted freedom is one of the best ways to reward skill expression in shooters. I think a great example of this is Deadlock. It features multiple movement mechanics from multiple games on the Source engine, and together they just feel fucking unreal. Now, reading all this seems magnificent, but I am still genuinely worried that this is just going to be another reskin of Splitgate without the portals. And I'll be completely honest here, I've watched some of the gameplay that's been circulating and I just cannot make my mind up. The grappling hook looks great at some points, while at others it just looks useless because you can float from wall to wall with boosters. The wall running looks fucking brilliant, but some of the maps I saw a lot of wide open areas where it almost seems like you'd be at a disadvantage while doing it. Bounce pads are always really cool, but they claim they are special. Maybe I just haven't watched enough gameplay, but I just don't see it. And finally, the paint bombs seem like they will turn into a fucking balancing nightmare once the general population is able to get their hands on this game. Gunplay may be the only area I'm expecting near perfection in. I can confidently say that shooting in their previous titles felt amazing. Their goal then was to make it feel similar to Halo, which I say was well achieved. Looking at very limited gameplay we have of Impulse, I will say I am still skeptical. There seems to be very limited ADS in the game. Only certain weapons are actually going to allow you to look down a sight, while the rest are going to offer that same zoomed in FOV we saw in Splitgate. To me, it's just very hard to say that you want Titanfall 3 and want to make a game that's very similar to Titanfall, all while removing one of the core mechanics that made shooting in that game feel so fucking good. Look, I'm not trying to make this video into a 1047 bash fest. I'm just trying to air out some concerns that I think just are perfectly fair given their track record. The one piece of games like this that can make or break your release without a doubt is the game modes. Your game could have the best movement, the best shooting, the best performance, but if the gameplay loop of available modes is a snooze fest, then your game will without a doubt be labeled a snooze fest. Thanks to this really sick interview from Jam-Pack Sam at Summer Game Fest, we got to hear from the CEO of 1047, Ian, directly on this matter. They have confirmed 7 modes and 6 maps on early access launch June 24th. Ian also mentioned that there are already a couple more in the works and that they continue to add to the pool after launch. There has also been 4 modes shown so far, and those modes are going to be TDM, Upload, which is pretty similar to Uplink from Black Ops 3 if you played that game. There's a neutral objective, you run it to the enemy's base to score. There's also passing mechanics to teammates, so you can set up some wild plays like alley-oops and, etc. Intel, which is just their version of keep away. You grab the ball, run like hell, hold on to it for 30 seconds, your team will be rewarded a point. After that, the ball will respawn at a random location on the map, and the game will progress from there. And lastly, the game mode that I am the most excited for is Capture the Mech, which is just capture the flag, except it's a mech instead of a flag. Game modes in general are the area that I think I am most excited for with this title. I got my start in this industry and video games in general way back in the MLG days, and yes, I was one of those kids that traveled to events and talked massive shit to the person on the other side of the table from me at a LAN. In my opinion, Advanced Warfare and Black Ops 3 has the best game mode options in a modern shooter to date. These modes are high intensity and have the ability to deliver some truly insane moments. Combine this all together with the high mobility ceiling in this game and the gunplay I've grown to expect from 1047, and I think they really do have something solid to build from here. Now, this is the part I've been putting off time and time again while I've been making this script. Mechs are going to be a big giant fucking question mark for me until I just get more time with this thing. Yes, I was that person that played the pilot only servers or whatever they called them in Titanfall. I just really love arena FPS and movement games down to my core, and the mechs kind of took that fun away from me. Now, that does not mean I hate them, so please reserve judgment and let me explain a little bit. I did state that I loved arena FPS, did I not? I am 100% okay for mechs to be like a power weapon as long as that's what it's actually going to feel like in the game. It was stated that there will be no anti-mech weapons like we saw in the Titanfall series, and this is where I just start to have a lot of concerns. They have made it crystal clear that these weapons are not going to be added into the game. So what am I or what are we supposed to do if the team is just not communicating and they're off in La La Land and there's just a giant metal ball ravaging the map? Like, I genuinely don't know. And the key point here that was also mentioned is that you can't really take down a mech solo. It takes coordination from the entire team in order to kill a mech. So I guess I'm just going to be apologizing in advance for screaming at the top of my lungs to shoot the giant fucking metal ball running around the map, rolling everyone. That said, I do think mechs have a strong place in this game. When taking the information that we've, seen and that's been shared about game modes, it seems like these mechs are just going to be much more integral to the game itself rather than just some side piece that's just insanely fucking OP that you can get in and just roll the lobby over and over and over again. So I'm not going to rant about this too hard at the moment. I think I just prefer to wait and see what happens, because at the end of the day, I'm seriously interested in seeing where this title is going to go. However, my final take on this game is that I'm just insanely uncertain still. This game has felt like a giant fucking mixed bag since the announcement, and what I do know is that I am a longtime shooter fan, and a competitive one at that, and that the genre of games has been in a really awkward spot for a long time. We've seen nothing but live service TAC FPS titles for a good bit outside of a few select releases, Splitgate being some of those select releases. So in general, I just think I'm more excited about playing something that feels new and improved for the first time in a long time. 1047 does have a very rocky past, but they also have some truly remarkable pieces to their games. To go back to that interview from Summer Game Fest, Ian says that they've gotten so many things correct and have just missed on a few key areas that were very much make or breaks for them. And I would strongly agree with that sentiment. I sincerely hope that they're able to look at Splitgate as a massive learning experience and just grow from it and then leave that bitch in the past, because that's just where it belongs at this point. The last thing I'll say is that it does take some massive balls to step into this genre and industry and space so confidently, and I will applaud them and give them their flowers for that. A lot of fans are just seriously unforgiving, so it takes some thick skin and grit to just keep on going and just keep releasing game after game after game. I will say I don't stream very often, but I certainly will for their Steam Next Fest demo on June 15th and then the full launch of the game on June 24th. So just be sure to stop by and say what's up. If you like the video and want to see me post more stuff like this, let me know in the comments section below and hit the sub button and that like button. I'll see you guys later.